same shirt, different hat, same day, different reaction. Alright, so let's see what we're reacting to today. Spotlight on Spotlight intersection. I'm looking at the screen there because I can't remember it actually. Spotlight intersection of trauma and Spotlight intersection of trauma and homelessness. Yes, that's what it says. I saw it over there, over here. I didn't read it off the screen. I totally didn't read it off the screen. Alright, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this. I don't know if you do. I'm going to occupy my mind somehow, occupy myself, occupy my time. So you're getting this now. Alright, so let's see what, I know about this. I know about the homeless population in TBI. I think something like 80% of homeless people have TBIs, something like that. Sorry. And, I don't know, it's fucked up. And let's see this. I never saw this particular video, but let's see it. It might be interesting. It has 900 views or so. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I don't know. Let's watch. Spotlight on. Hold on. I didn't see how I was looking at it. Just trauma and homelessness.
My name is Kevin Sullivan. I'm a doc at Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program on the street team. We've been around since 1985, and our goal is to provide and assure the highest quality care for Boston's homeless men, women, and children. There are a few different types of homelessness and degrees of vulnerability. Most of the folks who are homeless are just transitionally homeless. They have a single episode, short duration, they lost a job, they got a job, they're back and able to pay rent in a relatively stable way. There are folks that are episodically homeless, the marginally housed. They work manual labor, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes they lose housing, sometimes they're unable to pay the SRO, single room occupancy fees, but they're in and out intermittently. And
that's the theme with traumatic brain injury too. For me, the inability to finish things, I guess. I forgot what I was saying. Hold on, let's see what they said.
To pay the SRO, single room occupancy fees.
Right, not being able to finish, not being able to do things to completion, or have a hard time achieving that completion. So I don't know. It seems to be a trend, but I'm not even sure if they're talking about TBI survivors. But let's see, let's watch.
But they're in and out intermittently. And then about 10% of the homeless are chronically homeless. And these are people who have been homeless consistently, continuously for more than a year, or more than 4 episodes in the last 3 years of a certain duration. Some people wonder about the interaction between trauma and homelessness and kind of how that intersection became so paramount to my understanding of my patients as I started to listen to them. Stories of trauma just over and over again, both contributed to and were a result of their homelessness. Sometimes self-inflicted in terms of substance use, sometimes externally inflicted, like getting hit over the head, getting assaulted on the street, or getting sexually assaulted in the
I knew a guy that got shot in the head. He survived, but he has a traumatic brain injury, and he's relatively fine. Almost my level. I'm not that fine even, I don't think. But he's almost my level, and or equal to my level, maybe, I don't know. But either way, so he, maybe he's more than my level. Anyway, he, forgot what. I'm too high right now, I'm sorry. I should quit smoking pot.
Inflicted, like getting hit over the head,
right. So he's not homeless, but I know people that got hit over the head for no reason. This one guy was going out with my friend's mom, and while his dad lived there, don't ask, it's weird. The dude slept in the same bed cuddling with, oh whatever. And then he's not my friend anymore. The dude whose mom this was, cause politics. He didn't like me questioning shit, and oh no, it was because of Israel and Palestine. Anyway, whatever. So it was back in the day. So I know lots of people that with TBIs that got hit over the head, and I'm sure that causes trauma. I'm sure, like, even if you're okay relatively, like I'm traumatized and I don't even remember things, but I'm kind of traumatized. All right, let's watch.
Getting assaulted on the street or getting sexually assaulted in the case of many women and some men. This theme of trauma exists.
I almost got sexually assaulted by a woman. Story time. Hunter College, and I met this dude, related, but I met this dude, and I was like, hey, let's smoke, because that's I'm smoking or something, and I was smoking pot. So we're like, we smoke together. Turned out to be both living on Staten Island. So we took the ferry home. Oh yeah, and before this girl was like, can I come with you guys? And we're like, sure. She was kind of gimpy looking. I mean, she was cool. Like, I'm accepting of people. So, so she went with us. And then, like, he lived near the ferry, the dude, so he could drive me back, but we were going to chill for a smoke. And, so we did that with the girl. And then she got, like, grabby. She, like, at one point, she like, I don't know, she like ran after me with like her hand like this, like I'm not exaggerating, and it was really uncomfortable. And like, I mean, it was hot afterwards. The thought of it, because it's like somebody liked me, yay! But still, like, I don't know, and it made me uncomfortable. And then at one point, he was driving us back, and he had to drive her back because she lived in Jersey, and she like relied on him. So he's driving us back. I'm in the front seat. She's in the back, and she goes, Eddie. And I'm like, what? And she's rubbing like nipple exposed. And I'm like, dude, like, come on. But no, but afterwards, like a few days later, it seemed hot because I was like, shit, she was into me. That's awesome. Somebody was into me. But I wasn't even bad looking. I just assumed no one was into me. I don't know why. Anyway, back to this.
Throughout the lives of the patients I care for. Trauma exists throughout the lives of the patients I care for.
I'm not reading all that. Oh yeah, let me read all that. Hey there, I'm Ron. Exclamation point. Hey there, I'm Ron. Seems so happy. I'm homeless, living outside in Boston. I don't drink or use any drugs. I'm kept from working by injuries. That's sad. That's not even drugs. That's good. And I know I'm making like fun. I'm not making fun, but I know I'm like jovial about this and shit. But I really do find it sad. But I am gonna be jovial because that's the only way to make things better in life. To joke about them, hands down. All right. Trying very hard to just get by. Oh, I mean, I'm kidding. I wanna like do that. Just get by. Oh, I like that kind of thing. I'm trying very hard to just get by. I have a disability SSDI claim, okay. Pending. But no income now. Could you please help? Anything helpful, such as food items, coins, even cash, are all very much appreciated and will be used responsibly. Please help and God bless. Thank you. Oh, if you can. I'm sorry, I didn't read that. If you can, thank you, or if you can, thank you, and God bless. Alright, so this guy, I like this guy. I would donate to him, because he seems worthy. And I believe that he doesn't use drugs. I believe that. Or like, because he doesn't, the sign doesn't, I don't know. But I'm trusting in a way, and to an extent. So, and I have a good feeling about him for some reason. So I would donate to him. But some people I just don't. Like once maybe, like this guy at my store. I mean, not my store, but the store near my house. He like I keep losing my train of thought. So he always begs everyone for money because he's homeless, and I gave to him like a few times, and then ever since he's like hounding me. Not hounding me, but every time I walk by there, he's like, "Hey, what about today? What about today?" And it's like sad. I feel bad for him, but I don't have money like that. Oh shit. Huh? Dá pra ver. Yes, 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 indeed. Thank you. Bye. That was my doctor telling me, reminding me of my appointment on Saturday. Alright, so, forgot what I was saying. Let's watch. I've done enough talking in 1 minute into the video.
Data points at the statistics saying that most of the homeless have experienced trauma. So when I'm meeting them for the first time, I just assume that there's trauma. So I might not know the story the first time I meet them. It's not the first thing I ask. But over time, it becomes clear that how they interact is sometimes related to their prior traumatic experiences.
One thing I've noticed, actually, on topic, vaguely, people with traumatic brain injuries, I think, are stuck in the age when they got the injury. Like I met this, like 60-year-old gentleman once. I feel like I've said this. I don't know. I met this like 60-ish-year-old gentleman, and he asked me for a cigarette because I was smoking, and he was smoking too. But I'm like, "You're smoking," but I know something's wrong with him because he was okay. So I know something's wrong with him. So and then he had a homemade, I noticed. So I was like, alright. So I started talking to him. I'm like, so what's up? How are you? So it turned out he had a traumatic brain injury at 4 years old, and his parents died or something. Maybe they died naturally, but 4 years old. And I'm like, oh wow. And like we're talking. I'm like, so asking him questions, and then he goes in this voice, like, do you have a girlfriend? I want a girlfriend. And I'm like, whoa. I noticed he was stuck in that age, or that age came out, or I don't know. But then I met this other girl that was like in her 20s, but she was 9 when she had her TBI. And she also was like, maybe she was a mature 9-year-old, and I guess you'd retain some of that. You like grow up somewhat. But you generally, I think, get stuck because she reasoned like a 9-year-old in a way. I can't really explain it, but yeah. So let's watch this video.
I incorporate the history of trauma into my care of patients in how I ask them questions, how I approach them, how far I push or encourage or coach them in various things. I tend to ask permission before doing anything. I ask permission before I put my stethoscope on their back to listen to their lungs, because I don't know who might have been whipped by their parent, and that's a very vulnerable place. So prior to any physical exam stuff, I try to ask until I get to know them better and know where their boundaries are.
This guy's good. I like this guy.
For any personal question, I try to ask permission to ask a personal question because crossing boundaries is traumatic.
Like, I don't mind at all. If anyone asks me anything, I'll answer most things. And if I can't answer, I'll be like, I can't answer. And if I don't want to answer, I'll be like, I don't want to answer. But it makes sense because some people have traumas like unlike mine, and they got beat by their parents, like he said, or whatever, or Alice washes.
And can re-trigger those prior experiences so that they might disappear.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
And even when I try my best, there are still patients, as I'm talking to them,
it's better to be safe than say sorry.
I see their face, try my best. There are still patients. As I'm talking to them, I see their face change. I see their eyes glaze over. They are no longer present with me in the room. I elicited from them a reaction to a prior traumatic event.
That happens sometimes, but I get lost in thought, and I guess my eyes are weird at that moment, because people told me, like, what the fuck is with your eyes? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I snap that out when people tell me, when people call me out. But I get lost in thought, and I guess I think about the trauma a lot. I don't know.
I was talking to a young man about his back pain, and I started asking questions, and I was aware of his traumatic history, and I knew it was really bad, and I know I triggered him before. I was asking permission to ask, and asking permission to ask, and he was...
Can I ask you a question about your, like, parents' instant, like that 4-year-old, the 6-year-old dude that seemed 4. Can I ask you a question about your parents' death? And that's the same thing as asking a question about his parents' death. So that makes no sense to me. I mean, I guess unless he phrases it differently, I guess he would phrase it differently. Can I ask you a really personal question? And then dude says yeah or no. Alright, that makes sense. Word.
Saying yes, and then as I started asking the question, he disappeared. So even with my best skill that I could use in that moment, I still caused him to dissociate. And so he left for that appointment, and he came back the next week, and we talked about it again, and we got a little bit further in the conversation. So it's required patience, it's required a lot of humility and a lot of questioning. How much do I really need to know in this moment? Can I just meet this person where they are and sit with their pain? So in response to trauma, there's this rewiring of the brain. A routine event can actually cause an activation of that limbic system. People wind up triggered and going into fight or flight responses.
This is a weird word. I understand trauma triggering. I don't like the way people use triggered today.
Unpredictably. It might be predictable for them, but as an outsider looking in, unless we understand what's going on with the person, we might not understand.
This guy's a good speaker.
Why they're doing it.
Orator.
Sometimes when I'm meeting with patients, they have physical pain in that moment, they have an acute medical need, they have something that needs to be addressed that might be life-threatening or life-disabling. In that moment, it's
or life-ending.
Sometimes really hard to find the balance. I don't know some of that internal pain that they bring with them, that they are bringing into their calculus of how do I make a decision in this moment. They bring their ideas of, no, I can't go to the hospital's terrifying, it reminds me of X. Or when I go to the hospital, I lose control, and that loss of control re-triggers me, and then I'm in psychiatric distress in addition to physical distress. And so I'm going to avoid that because that's safety.
Triggering is natural. Shooting the gun, you gotta control that because you don't have to shoot the gun. Triggering is, and then you're ready. You're ready if somebody attacks you with another gun or with a sword or with a knife. But triggering and then shooting first, why? And you attack in the same way as the other person attacks it. If it's words, leave it as words. Because nothing is worth like fighting physically over something mental over something, over words. Or never mind. I just assumed, because I didn't assume, but I just brought that topic to mind.
So I try to meet them wherever they are, and I try to say, hey, this is what I'm worrying about. What enables me to actually have those hard conversations is the relationship that I build with them over time, and that our whole team builds with them over time. One patient might bond to our nurse practitioner better. One person might bond to our case manager better. One person might bond to other docs on the team, the psychiatrist. We build these relationships, and they're complex relationships, but we can use these relationships to have people engage in their own health care. Folks who have experienced traumatic events.
I can't engage, and I can't finish. But I can never finish anything, and I need to learn. But nowadays, I can't fully engage. I try, like this video, I'm engaged. Because, I don't know, I just am. I'm engaged, like really engaged. Especially when I talk to you guys. But, like, I can't explain it. Life, I can't engage. Like my life, making my life what it's supposed to be, which is successful. Wasn't for the TB. That's not true. I was unsuccessful before that either. But that was a choice. Being unsuccessful and unfulfilled was a choice that I made, and I gotta snap out of it. But I can't seem to. Back to the video.
And have developed PTSD from that. They react to it differently.
I'm pretty sure I have PTSD. I'm pretty damn sure. Because I'm just pretty sure sometimes I freeze up, or sometimes I just feel weird. I just feel really weird, especially on sunny days. And then when it starts raining, because when my accident happened, it was a sunny as fuck day. And then it's like all of a sudden it started raining and hailing. And April showers, I guess. Back to the video, because I'm feeling kind of weird right now. Back to the video.
Some people, it's just the flashbacks, it's just the nightmares. But
nightmares
itself is still distressing. It probably contributes to their homelessness, but it also contributes to substance use. If somebody is feeling this underlying anxiety, this fear of who's behind them.
Maybe that's how I smoke weed. Because it doesn't even help really, but it just makes me not depressed or not notice my depression. But I'm still depressed. I still notice it sometimes. I'm still anxious as fuck.
It's not surprising that some of them reach for substances or get hooked on substances, addicted to substances that take away some of those feelings. A numbing is sometimes better than pain. And so in addition to the PTSD, we get to navigate substance use disorder and the behaviors and the physical dependency that can come with that.
Luckily, my substance is weed. It's the only substance I take. I drink once in a blue moon, but I mostly smoke pot like on a daily basis. And I really want to stop, or cut down rather. I need a woman. Maybe that's an excuse, but I need a woman to cut down for or to join me.
Instead of punitive judgment. Acknowledging, yes, people use drugs. The person in front of you probably doesn't want to use drugs, but they're using drugs. So let's try to make that as least harmful as possible until they're ready to not use drugs. Let's make safe injection sites a thing so that people can use drugs.
I disagree with that. You shouldn't normalize, because now that weed's normalized, I'm more addicted to weed. Marijuana. But if you make like heroin, like whatever, like injection sites or whatever they're called, then you're fucked, because you make it like, okay, yeah, whatever, I can use heroin, no problem. And then it's bad, you get more people hooked, you get less people getting, this guy's a quack. Maybe not. He makes some good points, but that's a horrible point.
In a safe way until they're ready to not use drugs.
They're not going to be ready. Yeah, it's safer though, but they're not going to be ready.
It doesn't increase use, it doesn't increase overdose.
Maybe it does.
It doesn't bring in new people into drug use.
Maybe he's right. I don't know. There's data. So maybe it's YouTube video says there's data. There's data. So there must be. Maybe I don't want to look into it because I don't give a shit.
It doesn't increase crime in areas that has been studied worldwide. What it does is it helps those who use drugs stay alive and engage in care, and hopefully some of them will recover.
So then it doesn't help, it keeps things the same, okay? Because people that have no interest in heroin won't do heroin, I guess that makes sense.
So there's a wide variety of medical psychiatric treatments that are out there for whatever medical or psychiatric things that comes, and they've been changing in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And it can change some of the specifics. We had one person who had lung cancer and was on one of the new immunotherapy agents. And she got 4 years in our housing because of that. We've had patients get stabilized on one of the new immunotherapy agents. We had one for 30 years that comes, and they've been changing in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And it can change some of the specifics. We had one person who had lung cancer and was on one of the new immunotherapy agents. And she got 4 years in our housing because of that.
In our housing, okay. I thought he said in housing or whatever.
We've had
OCD-ish, I guess. So I'm not OCD, but I'm trying to hit the space bar with my nails, both of them, at the same time.
Patients get stabilized from
right hand.
From liver failure, from liver cancer, and have high quality lives. In terms of psychiatric meds, the ones that are out there can help buy time so that some of that internal healing can happen, so that the symptoms can be less, and so they might be able to better manage in society. For folks with bipolar, for folks with PTSD, anxiety, schizophrenia, we can use some of these medications to help give them some of their humanity back, to help stabilize them. And yes, sometimes it'll be meds for life, and that's fine. But it's helping give them...
It's not fine, but it does help.
Their humanity.
What did he say?
But it's helping give them their humanity.
In a way.
I understand how it can be hard to sympathize with those who are homeless if all that you see are some of their behaviors or what they look like on the street. What I think is often not understood or not appreciated by the general populace is behind those worn out shoes, behind the long scraggly beard, behind the person stemming on the corner is a person, and they have a story, and they have people that care about them, whether it be their doctor or case manager, whether it be their neighbor, whether it might be their fellow homeless person.
Their neighbor? Well.
Who they hang out with, huddled together on the streets on these cold days. That they have a community that cares for them, and whoever's in front of you, they are a person, even though sometimes that's hard to see.
Thank you for watching this video, and we...
So he didn't mention TBIs, let's watch this, because this is only fair.
Love to share more with you, so please subscribe to this YouTube channel. For more information about all of our trainings, please visit the link below.
Okay, now, this is an interesting video, because he didn't mention TBIs specifically, but he did mention, wait, what? Oh, sorry. He did mention trauma, which TBI is. So I'm gonna go, because I don't know how to finish things. And I don't know how to finish this video, so peace.